DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday night. It is a wonderful Monday night because we're not full of turkey and tryptophan yet. I guess, maybe.
Wouldn't it be more wonderful if we were full of all that?
Might be.
No, because I'd be like this.
Could be our best show ever. I mean, let's face it.
That's true. You know what? I guess I did. I was thinking of our listeners.
Could be the snoring remix we could do. That'd be pretty awesome.
Ooh, that would be kind of cool. But it is the three amigos tonight, and so we definitely need some help in the chat room. We have no lady representation tonight. Shani, unfortunately, was not able to join us tonight, so it is up to Robin in the chat room and any of the wonderful ladies that want to join in as well. So, but no, we have some great stuff tonight. If you notice from our description or our title, we're wondering, is Twitch dead?
And I think that's a question we're getting more people asking or kind of trying to figure out here as Facebook tightened things down really tight with streaming. YouTube's had they're tightened their streaming down, and Twitch now has been slapping some people. It's like, what's going on? Is there a spot that a person can stream live shows these days?
It's called Mixcloud.
Well, yeah.
It's what is it? Mix
that cost you, how much is it now? They raised the price.
Oh, they did.
I think they keep offering me double minutes. I know that much.
No, I'm sorry. That's Verizon. Verizon gives you double minutes.
That's funny. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here and see what it gives me because I haven't logged in quite a while. Yeah, theirs is legal. But the thing is that you are limited on certain things. You are limited on the amount of minutes you have per month, what you pay for. It's not cheap. And for most people who stream, they don't want to put any money into it. I mean, I personally don't, and I stream all the time. But it may be my only option. Mm-hmm. I want to throw this in at the top, and then I'll let you guys talk as I look up the prices on this, because I think this is something to at least talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Facebook to me is different than Twitch because of this reason. If I get busted over on Facebook, they said that they would maybe delete my account or kick me off. I use the Facebook account for a lot more than just streaming. Right. The only reason I go to Twitch is to stream. So if they kick me off or delete my account, I'm the same place I was before, never touching Twitch ever. So I'm going to keep going for it until they bump me off, because number one, I don't let my stuff stay live. So as soon as I'm done doing a live set, I delete the thing. So it isn't something that I want people to come back and view later. It's like a live show. You see it once and that's it. You don't get it any more than that. Mm-hmm. So the mentality I think is a little different, but the question is, when I do my broadcast, I do them both to YouTube and Twitch, and I do get kicked off of YouTube pretty quickly. So will Twitch be kicking me off just as quickly? It may not be a slap on the hand or delete my account, but it may be just as pointless, you know?
Well, and that's one of the things that I think has been interesting. So for the longest time, Twitch, everybody was like, okay, nobody's really touching Twitch. And then you'd hear like some things would happen and they'd like mute your video, or I saw Jason Spencer talked about they put a screensaver over some of his video. And I think he was doing a video game or something like that when he was doing it. But it wasn't a DJ set, but still. So that's what they were doing. So now this was on a recorded setup. This was not on a live setup. So I'm wondering if, this is something that they're kind of more focusing on, like almost like YouTube did there for a little while. Now, I know they've changed recently, but the idea of, all right, so here's what we're going to do. Stream it. Go ahead and do what you want. We're not going to mess with it. We're not going to send our spiders after you. But if it stays up there afterwards, then we're going to nail it. And I wonder if Twitch is kind of focusing more on that, at least for now.
I think it's possible. And I think it really, what it boils down to is, when is the record, when are the labels catching them? And if it's, I think if the labels can somehow get more consistent with catching them and be able to prove it and threaten lawsuits, Twitch is going to change and get that same Facebook or YouTube capability of catching it on the fly. But up until that point, I think they're gonna run as far as they can. Be one of those companies that would rather beg for forgiveness after the fact than to ask permission ahead of time. That's just my take.
Well, the thing I found interesting was, now I could be wrong in this, but I thought somebody told me that they're actually owned by Amazon. So I feel like, and yeah, that's what I thought. Like, sure. I think I heard it through Shaney because of somehow, if you're a Prime member, somehow it's tied into the subscription stuff and some weird kind of thing with that. But anyway, I think it's also one of those things where, at least in the email, they made it sound like, 99% of our violations really are not music that somebody is sending out, but it's stuff that's in the background. So I do find it interesting. We have this focus on it, and I think it's maybe because it's first person idea of Twitch is like, oh my gosh, all Twitch is a few gamers and everybody else is DJs. Mm-hmm. Where it's complete opposite. It's like, pretty much everybody's gamers and there's a few DJs. Even though it seemed like everybody and their brother flocked to Twitch, it's not as DJ heavy as we may think. So maybe also what will kind of keep that on the background, if you will, is that if their violations really are still mainly staying in the background, mainly staying behind the scenes, they're not going to catch maybe the attention as strong as Facebook and all these other ones where it was pretty much right in their face. So
it says just one thing quick, and then you can jump in. Twitch is a interactive subsidiary of Amazon, so it is part of Amazon.
What the heck does that mean?
It means that it's their Twitch is the live streaming service for Amazon.
Or, see, that could also just be held on their servers too. So that could be server level only.
On Wikipedia, that's how they use the subsidiary from 2014 to present. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think there's going to be more services like the Mixcloud where you pay to have stuff out there, because I think it's going to be, even after the lockdown leaves, it's going to be a norm of a lot of people's lives, the norm of DJing online. I've personally been doing it since, at least the earliest one I could find video of was 2004, was the first time I DJed online live. And it becomes this different thing because it's just like when we do videos and stuff, you become live to your audience. And as DJs, people who DJ, not someone who's an entertainer, because I think there's a difference between the wedding entertainer and the DJ, where people tune in to see what tracks I'm dropping, or if they're into DJing, watch what skills I have. And it kind of almost is like someone tuning into their favorite radio station to check out their favorite disc jockey talking on the air. So I think there will be a future in it where we as the DJs pay for it because there is an audience for it, obviously, from people watching it. So are they going to then charge the viewer and the presenter? I mean, I would bet they would. I mean, think of it like, Spotify. Spotify says, okay, if you pay the $10 a month for the premium account and then pay another $10 a month for the broadcasting account and then pay another $10 a month for your whatever fee, you can DJ our songs legally on our service to other people who are paying $10 a month to subscribe. So I think it's there. Like I said, I have not spun on Mixcloud in a while because I just kind of focused on Twitch for a while. And then when Facebook left, I continued to focus on it. But for $15 a month, you can stream a few hours a week, a few hours a month. I forget what it is now. I can't find anything on their post about what it is. I'm looking everywhere.
I was just looking, too, to see if I could find it. I mean, I've got the $15 a month. That's the one I pay for. Yeah, I'm not finding anything for prices or how long.
Yeah, it's so many hours you get because, like I said, every other week I get an email from them saying, yeah, you can double your hours if you click on this link. And I'm like, I ain't using any of them. But like I said, It's a whole thing, because here's the funny thing. I had so many people that would watch me on Facebook, but I can't get someone to type in twitch.tv/DJ Michael Joseph and go to that on any browser, on any device, no download, no sign up needed. Just type that and go. And I can't get people to do that. Oh, so
just having them click on that if it was on Facebook. They don't even have to type.
Yeah. So it's about, yeah. So it's about what audience, as you as the DJ, what audience can you get to tune in to make that $15 a month worth it? Mm-hmm. That's a tough call. I mean, it's a business decision. At one point, it definitely is going to be a business write-off, but it's write-off for me. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But it just really becomes a question of the ultimate value of, and we've referred to this in other shows, is the live streaming thing. If you don't have an audience that's going to eventually pay you something, is it worth you doing? If you're not getting your name out there, if you're not getting any notoriety, it gets to be like I could go stand on a street corner with a sign over my head saying, "Hey, I'm the greatest DJ in the world," and I might get more publicity out of that than spinning.
No joke. Here in the city, there is a guy up near the Pitt College that sits out there with a piano and collects money for the box sitting next to him playing piano songs, and he fakes that he's playing, and people give him money all night long. So, no joke. So, if you can find your audience, it can be anything. But again, for this type of thing, I think, again, if you look at a wedding DJ or a mixed DJ, how many people are going to look at a wedding DJ and go, yes, I want to sit and listen to what he's playing for the next hour? How many of his audience is going to say, I want that? Most of them are probably just going to say, well, I'll just listen to his mix that he threw up somewhere, instead of watching it live. And that takes us into where Twitch, you can't, now you can't leave it up there. Mixcloud, I think you can for a time, but all these ones leave it so you cannot give them. It has to be live. So then in the sense of a live DJ, what type of DJ does this best benefit?
And that gets to be the big question. And from my perspective as that wedding person, it's got a different level of value. Sure.
There is a guy that follows us on, and I haven't looked at the chat tonight. So if there's anybody saying anything in chat, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at it tonight. Who is part of our DJNTV Insider family that does do several times a week where he does streaming on Twitch, and it's not necessarily mixing most of the time. He does nights where he does mix, but other nights he's just has stuff on autoplay with a video of lights and different things going on, and he has people tune in to just to hear the songs that he chose for that night.
Yep, just to hang out.
Yeah, so there is an audience for everything because people listen to music, and I actually think I'm getting a better response now. The past couple of weeks, I've done it with where I'm trying not to talk as much. Where the beginning, it's all about interaction. Look at me. Hey, I'm a great. How you all doing? Shout out. No, I'm stopping that now, and I'm just mixing. And every once in a while, I answer some questions, and I think I'm getting more response of just me picking good songs and being a programmer for this type of thing because it's not a dance floor. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to worry about craziness. I'm just playing tunes for them, whatever they're doing at their house at that point or in their car or whatever.
I've noticed the streams that when I've tuned in, the ones that I quickly tune out is the ones that start just talking nonstop. Somebody pops in the room, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, there's a chat. Take 5 seconds and type your response in there. Like, I mean, if you really want to communicate with them, it's not even radio DJ. It's like annoying person in the club who saw somebody come in the door. Hey, how's it going? And it's like, no, knock it off. That gets me a tune out.
If you've ever checked out Funkmaster Flex live radio show, that's basically what he does on his radio show. Not really shouts out, but he talks a lot over it. And that is a whole format that people like to tune into.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but it's not something I do.
Yeah, that's for me. That's why I subscribe to things like Spotify, so I don't have to hear a person in between telling me the news or the weather or making a comment I don't care about. I just want to hear the music, and that's what I think that we're now the bubble of the novelty that was streaming has kind of changed a little bit. Everybody did it. So many aren't now. I mean, I know guys who are great that had an audience that just said, this ain't fun because they don't have an audience in front of them. They have this digital people that watch and it's not as fun. So you have to, I think you have to like mixing too. So I think that has to be part of it, that You're not just doing it for the audience. You're doing it because you like it, or practice, whichever.
Yeah. One thing, as you mentioned that, MJ, is I've heard from a couple of people, and I have gotten that feeling to a point with the wedding music or the typical music that we play, is that they're basically sick of music from this year. And it's like, how can you be sick of music? You haven't played out virtually at all, haven't performed at all. But I wonder if it's so much they're sick of music, of the Bruno Mars, the type of things we would have been playing, what have you, at dances, compared to that's what it takes when you play that. I was listening to some top 40 stuff today, and it's like, oh, I remember I used to play that at dances back when we had dances. I remember playing that song at this specific high school, and the kids went crazy back when there were kids in high schools. I wonder if that it's just kind of a random thought that popped in, is that if this year has evolved into it where some people just are sick of the common song, so they want to hear maybe a little offbeat versions, what have you, and they've heard enough Zoom talk that they're just tired of Zoom talk.
That's what I play on mine, the weird stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a thought to throw in there real quick, Dan, and I want your reflection on this from the radio world. They did a study years ago when people listen to music on something larger than this speaker, and people who were musicians and DJs, all of them that they talked to, the majority, did not have big sound systems because they weren't into the music. They were into their music that they were playing and getting other people to listen to theirs. So is that some of what we're seeing with the people who DJ for a living, is that they really never wanted to listen in the first place? They just wanted to show you what good music is, in their opinion.
Well, I think there's another direction, and as John was talking about it, I feel like it's more along the lines of, we're more apt to feel a song and listen to a song and maybe even give more time to it and more enjoyment out of it when we see the response that it makes. When I'm playing a song and I'm doing events and stuff like that, there's songs that, I love to play at an event because I love the reaction that it gets. I love how it causes them to move. I love how that responds. And if I listen to it on my own, And so I think, kind of with what you were saying, John, like, we can play it, and even if we're playing it within the stream aspect, unless it's something where I have a camera set up and I'm able to see them and they're seeing me and more of a Zoom type of party type of aspect, I'm not getting the reaction out of them. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot harder to maybe continue to feel that song. I also would add that for a lot of us who are part-time, when we're in quarantine, we're listening to music a lot more off the radio than what we were possibly before. Those day jobs, depending on the day job that you have, but a lot of them don't have radios just playing. And so if they're listening to, the stations and the music that they typically would have listened to before or played at events, that type of thing, the frequency with the songs that they're hearing is going to be much greater. And so they're now home, so they're listening longer, and they're hearing them more frequently because of that. I don't know. I mean, that I could be, because I know MJ's going to go, nobody's listening to radio, everybody's listening to Spotify.
No.
But when they are, even if you're listening to your Spotify playlist, if you're listening to it a lot more frequently, those songs are going to pop up more often.
No, I definitely don't agree that what you're saying about people listening to radio. I'm not disagreeing with that. People do.
Yeah.
Lots of people do, because a lot of times workplaces and different things have it on. There's a whole world around that that's still there. But it's funny that I'm the opposite way of that, because all the songs that I DJ, because I don't like top 40 music, I like house music. So all the stuff that I would normally listen to DJing and hear the songs that I download, I'm never hearing them now. So when I go back to DJing, there's going to be like a year's worth of music that I'm going to have no idea if I should be playing it or not, because I've gotten zero crowd reaction. I don't listen to it. I don't like it. So there's obviously a certain aspect of the DJs themselves who aren't the biggest music people when it comes to what they're playing. They might be into older music. They might be into a specific style. They might be whatever. There's a lot of different styles and choices, and that's why that I think this world is as big as it is. I think that if you work hard enough, you can find an audience to DJ to, even if it is just playing a playlist and talking between songs every once in a while. I think you can. I think there's someone out there for everybody that way. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that's where it's hard to say. I don't want to kill Twitch or any of those other ones or that kind of stuff, because I think there's. Let's put it this way. I'm working on a book. I've talked about that a zillion times, and I talked in there one time about Andy Warhol, who's from Pittsburgh, said in the future everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes, and I disagreed with that. I said in the future, which where we're at right now, that we're going to be famous to 15 people in the world. So if you have 15 or 20 people that tune into your live mix every time you go live and love it and comment, that's going to mean something to some people big time, because they may not do the kind of events where they can mix like that. They may be required to get out on the dance floor and do the line dances and stuff. So this could be that one outlet. Like for me, the outlet is that I get to play house music, dance music. I don't have to play hip hop when I'm DJing my sets. I play what I want to hear. Mm-hmm. You know, you will get what I want to play. So I think it's finding that niche. I don't think it's dead. I think it's becoming a little more defined, where before it was just like a shotgun. It was novelty. Everybody was like, hey, now it's like, okay, I'm going to play for you and I'm going to play for you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Jimmy asked about terrestrial radio versus streaming. The thing is that if you look at what they call as radio, what they call airplay, the vast majority comes from streaming. Like vast compared to terrestrial radio stations. Mm-hmm. I had somebody the other day arguing with me about what's the one satellite?
Sirius.
I'm like, oh, Sirius is huge. Everybody. I'm like, not compared to the other streaming ones. No. Not compared to like when you put into that mix, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all these other ones. When you start adding the people that listen to each one of those up, it just becomes the overwhelmingly large part of it, especially to certain audiences.
Yeah, well,
there's whole audiences out there that just want talk radio. They don't want the music at all. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, also for those that think Sirius is, you know, huge and everything else, if they were so huge, then they wouldn't keep lowering their price as much as they do.
Yeah,
like every year that I call,
they keep getting less and less stations too.
Well, no, I've gotten the same for the most part. I've gotten the same because my package has never, or the one I dropped I don't care about. But yeah, so it's just like it keeps getting cheaper every time I call in. Oh, now we're offering this for a year. I was paying double that when I started.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna give me money to listen to it soon?
Pretty much. That's what it seems like.
That's what we may have to do with the streaming, DJ. We may have to pay people to tune in.
Speaking of which, just a little plug for Mixcloud again, though. You know, if that is the direction you want to go, I really think that there, like you said, there is the place for it. The one thing that I like and that you know is kind of I think one of the reasons why people like Twitch is there is the ability to monetize. There is the ability to make some money off of it. You know, you're not making what you did in a gig, but you're also not making $0. So, you know, there is some benefit to that and how that goes about long term. And I really think, you know, if you wanted to promote it in the way that you promoted Twitch, I think it would take off just the same as what your Twitch has. And I say you, I'm talking generically to everybody right there. Just from the standpoint of you have both aspects, both of them kind of ask you to create an account. I've had friends of mine that, you know, I don't live stream through Mixcloud, but I post my links up there and my mixes. And I've had friends of mine who like go create an account for listening around the house. And it's like, you're not a DJ and you're going to check it out. Awesome. Love it.
I think of it like this is the way I've always thought of all these things. Everything that we do, every post we make, everything is like a billboard advertising me. So if I have a lot of billboards around town, if I have stuff up on Mixcloud, if I have stuff up on SoundCloud, if I have stuff on Twitch, I have stuff on YouTube, those are a lot of billboards you're going to drive past, and I'm going to catch certain people on this part of the town and certain people on this part of the town. So even if you do have the 5 people that tune into SoundCloud, those are 5 people that you didn't have before. So they're all billboards to me. So I think it's all part of what we do and what you want to achieve with all this too.
And that's been a big trend in advertising that is a frustration for advertisers, because it used to be you could advertise in 2 different spots and you'd reach the bulk of the people. And today you don't reach masses, you reach segments, which fits exactly with what you're saying there, MJ, is that we're reaching 10 here, 5 there, 100 here, 15 there, whatever. And that's what you need to do to be able to function and reach as many people as possible.
It's a hustle. That's for sure. And you've got to love the hustle part of it too. Because some people I know people who are so talented as DJs and aren't real big on the hustle, and this side of things just completely escaped them. Like when I used to be a vocal performer, I hated the business side of it. And that was always my struggle, is the business side, because I wanted to be an artist, not a business person. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to find, if you can find a balance to put them all together, it works, but it is going to take some hustle. That's what I think. But Twitch, I don't know. I'm not sold on any of them yet. I don't dive into them and go, this is awesome, man. But it's fun. For me, it's practice. I love doing it because it gives me practice. The other night, I don't even know how many people I had. It wasn't many, but I had fun mixing just because I love to mix. So It's not for everybody.
So we talked a little bit about Mixcloud, the professional version for live streaming, and of course Twitch that is functional. Are there others out there that you've been hearing about that, or other workarounds? Because somebody had made comment about, no, I don't remember.
Doing on your own.
Yeah, basically directly to your own site. And
I have looked at, because you've all seen the webcams for like watching the Eagle's Nest or such and such bay. Mm-hmm. And those are all singular broadcasting cameras. And there are services that you can put it directly to your site through them, but they are at this time very expensive. So there are options, but it either takes you really knowing how to code a page to get a live feed running through something, or pay a lot for one of those individual cam spots that you can just copy and paste the HTML over to your own page.
Well, John, we talked about one, I think just you and I, it was a few months ago, where there's an app or a company out there that basically allows you to create your streaming service, very similar to what a radio station does, who's not big enough to have their own streaming. They kind of buy into this, mm-hmm. and this, they send it to them, and that company sends it out. And so you basically have the ability. Okay. So, and sending it to Amazon or to Alexa and Google Home and all those devices. So there, but I'm blanking on it. It's something King. I want to say it's App King, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I remember us talking about it, but I don't remember specifically.
So there are things like that. I know, like Donnie Lewis up in New York, for a while, and I think he still has it. There's an app that he had created. He originally was the one where I heard about the one I just mentioned, but he got away from it. There were some issues that he potentially had, and he actually has an app. I'm sure it's not completely just solely for him. I'm sure it's similar in idea to the other one, but basically, if I click on his, it brings up a streaming radio that's within his, and so there are options like this where it's because there's somebody else that's really that main hold you're buying in, but it's not quite the same upfront fee, I think, as what you'd be talking about, MJ, with the camera. Now, the other side to that is it's very radio-esque. There's no visual side to it. But I think there are obviously there are people who tune in and watch, but I would also assume, maybe incorrectly, that a lot of the people who tune into the Twitch channels, whether it's to follow you or something else, is very much a background-esque type of viewership, to where it is solely, I want to hear that, I want to listen to it music, maybe I want to hear it as mixing, whatever, but I don't want to sit there and watch. I want to be cruising Facebook. I want to be doing this, that, or whatever. And so apps like this would be that are non-visual really doesn't matter.
unless you start doing it on a live set, as in places hire you for that. That's one of the things that I think could become in the future, because I know places that are already thinking about why in the world do I want to hire a DJ when I can just pay so much of a service to have a DJ somewhere else spin with a camera at our crowd that he can switch up, because there's places that are already doing that. But I want to pose a question to you, because in my opinion, everything happens because of money. So you want to know why something happens, follow the money. What if the I just blanked on it. The services you pay for copyright.
ASCAP, BMI.
Thank you. Why could I not think of that? I was thinking RIAA, but I'm like, no, that's the other thing. But what, you figure out how much a place pays a month. If it's a big place, think of it as a big place, a month for their BMI and ASCAP. Okay. What if they gave you an offer that says, if you pay a yearly ASCAP or BMI, or give you a monthly thing that you can broadcast on your station, would you think that DJs would pay? Because you got to figure an average restaurant is paying a few thousand, if I'm correct, a month to cover all that. Is that right?
Depends on the place, but yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the number of TVs and
yeah. So imagine if it was, let's say, $5,000 a year that you can broadcast. How many DJs would consider that worth paying $5,000 a year to be able to broadcast legally and uninterrupted?
Oh, there'd be definitely some. I think there would be a lot more that would try to find a way around it. That's just the way DJs are.
I mean, you look at Mixcloud just alone. You know, we said it's $15 a month, and how many people won't even consider it because it's $15 a month?
Yeah.
And now, if you found a way to monetize it and could run with it on a national scale or something like that, but yeah, it's a whole other.
You pay me in gift cards.
So somebody shared
like other industries do.
Yeah, give me a free beer and we'll be good. So somebody on Facebook, and I apologize whoever shared this. I cannot see the name because it just says Facebook user, but they shared a link for playdj.tv.
Yes.
And if you haven't,
I'm also on that one too.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that out, it's I believe it's from the UK.
Yes.
And it's a streaming. There's a free and a pro version. It costs about $20 a month if you're wanting to use the pro version. But there's some functionality with that that a lot of people may want to check out. And again, that's playdj.tv.
Playdj.tv.
I'm just going to put the link in the chats.
Yeah, and if you want to find me on there, everything is DJ Michael Joseph. So I'm the same on Twitch, on Mixcloud, and on PlayDJ is playdj.tv/DJ Michael Joseph.
Yeah, you guys can check that out. So yeah, whoever, and I don't know if it's the same person mentioned that there were no response to the comments. Nobody besides myself can see the Facebook comments, and again, I don't even know if it's the same person because it just says Facebook user. So I apologize.
We're not being mean. I'm watching YouTube. MJ's not watching any of it, and John's got everything. So just blame John.
Yeah, it's all my my.
Like I said, there's a lot of options, and it's grown because, like I said, it comes down.
Comes down to internet bandwidth. I think that's a good time to segue into bandwidth.
Did something happen there?
Yeah, you froze up a couple of times there.
Probably the best commentary I've ever had.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was
not saying nothing.
I was moved. I was really moved.
Like I said, it all comes down to money. That the fact that
all comes down to money and paying your bandwidth bill.
Yeah, what's going on with this?
It paused just perfectly. It all comes down to, and it's like I'm sitting.
The secret of life is.
What is a secret? The winning lottery
that better?
Numbers.
That better? Maybe I had too many windows open.
Thanks, Jamie, for being with us tonight. I appreciate you putting a name in there. Yeah, thanks. We're trying to keep the conversation going and hitting both sides of things. So, okay, so playdj.tv, we've talked about that. Probably the last spot, or one of the spots I want to hit, is something that we've actually been utilizing. And MJ said, of course, there's paid for services out there. One of those services we've been utilizing for music shows here for the last 2 months, but really the last month heavily, is the live streaming through with Vimeo. And the reason for doing it is Vimeo does not monitor what's being live streamed. And I can embed a video into the website. So if I wanted to have a show that was a full music show, we have done those, and we've not had any problems. But the key part of it is where it's embedded cannot be something that a spider can get to, an internet spider. So we have to have it behind a sign-in. You have to register and you have to log in to get to it. Once you get there, you can watch the show, and it's not a big deal. But because of we had some music shows that were not behind that paywall, and they were uploaded to Vimeo. Those are the ones that got caught a couple of years ago, where we lost our Vimeo account for a week, 10 days, whatever it was. I don't remember how long it was. As we had to file an appeal with the ASCAP people. But that is another option. And what's really kind of cool is that Zoom, in one of their latest incarnations here, has the ability to go to original sound. You can turn this on and off. You can turn on high definition sound, which you couldn't do before. So Zoom has upped their game. But Zoom has also said that if they have any problems or questions, you could lose your Zoom account. And they would not refund you if you are caught streaming with Zoom and somebody reports you, basically, is what it's going to say. So utilizing that is a possibility. But Vimeo, if you can keep it behind a sign-in, kind of a private page type of thing, where it's a password-protected page, I think that could be a real option for a lot of people. And with their streaming is really quite good. If you can get a good signal to Vimeo, it's going to come to your website and be solid. If you don't have that good connection, you're kind of sunk no matter what. But so
you're going to freeze in your spot.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look at.
Like I said, I think with the whole COVID kind of pushed us in that direction, and I think it's going to open up. I honestly believe, let's say tomorrow everything got back to normal, I still think there would be people that want this world now that they've seen it.
I think there is. I would have to agree with that. And I think it's partially because it's a true on-demand world. And as much as, we can't go do so many things, if I want to hear something, or I want to experience something, or even if I wanted to talk to someone, they're probably available. And that wasn't the case a year ago, because we were busy and we were traveling, and it's like, hey, no, pretty much if it's after 5 o'clock, I know that I can get a hold of somebody, most anyone. I think that on-demand world we're feeding into that. We're seeing with the stores and such. Amazon kind of started it. They kind of drifted back. Well, now Walmart and Target and many stores up here in Minnesota are offering next day service. And Amazon's still a week out now with all their things, but I think that's going to change the game up here, because now they're talking basically every 35 miles they're going to put an Amazon warehouse type of thing, it seems. Our world is going to change, and that on-demand, I want it right now and I want it the way I want it world is coming quickly for all of us.
I think we even throw into that the fact that how many companies are letting their people work from home even after this. They're talking about not doing the space. Mm-hmm. That whole mindset is engulfing everything. Dan, sorry.
No, you're fine. The other thing I was thinking of is, for example, when I'm not in my busy season, so you get into the winter months, I'm not really out playing much, if at all. That was a lot of times where I would record a mix and just, because I want to goof around in my house or whatever and record and then post it somewhere, or even just for myself. Now I could see a lot of people who were in that same type of boat where they might do a mix, do a live stream. Maybe still record it and still, whether it's the video or the audio or both, still record it, but decide rather than just recording and putting it somewhere, live stream it while they do it.
Yeah. I have so many hours of recorded stuff, both from back in the clubs, and I'm talking like I'm out 3 nights a week, so I'm recording, a few hours 3 times a week plus the live shows. I have so much stuff. So when I die, someone has to go through my computer and get all this cool stuff out and distribute it. Because I'm telling you, there are terabytes of stuff I have that I just like, maybe I'll put this out. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Somebody talked about Future Stream, which I have looked at that one. Yep. I'm not signed up on that one yet. I'm going to have to soon.
Yep, they just shared that on Facebook. So thank you for sharing that.
Or do I have one for future stream?
I'm going to go now. I'm going to be DJ Michael Joseph.
I will slap you in the face, son. Yeah. What was the new one that everybody's leaving Facebook and going to that I just...
Parlor.
Parlor and Mimi. I have a sign up for that, but I've not done anything with it because I don't want to do anything with it. But just so no one can take my DJ Michael Joseph.
Well, there goes your... That was Dan's evening. He's like, hey... StreamYard, I don't know. Can you embed with StreamYard? I think StreamYard's just a Zoom, but browser based, isn't it? I don't know if you can embed on StreamYard. I don't think so.
I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot out there, and just like the whole VHS beta thing, I think we're going to have to work our way through all these in time.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, we're about 6 months into all this, 6 or 8 months. So it's not, there's no longevity into this right now. So there isn't a lot of, because look at the beginning of like the .com era, how many things popped up and then went away. So we're in that kind of bubble right now for that audience. So.
And another thing that might come into play is that one time cell phone mobile devices that were using cell service and such. Quit it.
Is that your phone?
No. It was a video that popped up here. Somebody sent a link, and it opened up a video here. So from Indonesia. But anyway. I lost my train of thought because of the Indonesia thing that came up there.
Phones, future.
Phone, thank you. For a while that in European phones that they were basically including music services in that, and then there was the discussion if you weren't going to buy a music service that any of the music services that you may use would be slowed down. And I wonder if we're going to see something to that effect where it's going to become more of on the end user side of it that, you want to stream Twitch and you want to stream it at a higher level, it's going to cost you X more dollars to have it on your mobile device. How this all comes about and where eventually people get paid is going to be a big issue. I think we'll see.
The future. What that darn cell phone has done to our lives.
Yeah.
Think about, because I was watching, what was the show I watched the other night? It was from 2005, movie, War of the Worlds, okay? Mm-hmm. And in that movie, the monsters, people are out there with digital cameras taking pictures. No one's holding up a cell phone in 2005. And that's just 15 years ago. And how much of our lives have changed, because I'm looking at them going, why isn't every single person holding their phone up? And I realized 2005.
Yeah.
They didn't have video cameras on the phones back then. They all had the digital cameras. They're going, so it was weird to see, but give us another 15 years and these phones are going to, you're no longer going to have a home computer or a laptop. You're going to dock your phone or wirelessly dock it. And that'll be everything you will do will be done from your phone. This will be your computer, your laptop, whatever you plug it in to see that screen, whether you walk into the living room and it becomes on the TV, then you go to the bedroom and it's on the alarm clock, whatever. I think that's we're going to see everyone is going to be live to everyone. Everyone's going to be famous to 15 people somewhere.
Very much, yeah. The famous to 15 people is, gosh,
you heard it here first. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, but you'd hope that your influence in the world would be greater than 15 people. But then you really think about it. If you have 15 people in which you've been able to pour into their lives and make their lives better, that's actually a lot.
Look at it this way: how many people have 15 people that want to pay attention to them? That when they talk have 15.
I've got 70 in my classroom every day and they don't want to, so it's okay.
Think if you actually have 15 people that want to hear what you have to say, that's a big deal.
Let's see.
I trademarked that just so MJ knows.
Let's see. We talked. Okay, let's spend a couple of minutes here before we wrap up, guys. DJ Expo. Yeah. This is their virtual DJ Expo or the DJ Expo virtual. Yeah, it should be 2020.
Expo for life. No.
Didn't happen in August. They had moved it to November. It didn't happen in November, so they have made this their DJ Expo week. I think I've received about 8 messages before your message today, MJ. People are saying, "Have you seen it? Have you seen it?" And I ignored them all except yours.
Oh, thank you. See, there's my one. 14 more.
So yours was the first one I actually stopped and actually paid attention to it. If you haven't followed it, you go to thedjexpo.com. They have got a week of stuff that they had planned, and it's basically blog posts from pre-recorded videos that are put up on that. And they've got a couple of some content. They've got some exhibitor pages that talk about some of the companies that are typically at DJ Expo, and it's nice, but I guess I was underwhelmed by it as I looked at it. Is probably I was expecting much more.
I have 2 friends who had their whole trip to Atlantic City booked, and they bumped it to this week. And they said they were going to be in Atlantic City just vacationing and watching the videos that they post for the expo while they were there. And I said, how meta is that? And then I get up today and look at it and go, okay, with the stuff that they posted, what would they do after they buttered their toast? Because there wasn't much. I think there's going to be more. And John and I talked about this, there's a lot of companies that have products that they have on their budget that have to be released in 2020 because they cannot push them over to 2021. It's part of the budgeting for this year. So there are companies that have to release something by the end of this year. So why not take advantage of some people paying attention to the expo and put your stuff out? For the fact that we know that Pioneer is coming out with some stuff on Thursday. We don't know what, but we know for a fact that they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's going to be released in a different methodology, and that's what kind of surprised me. I really expected some companies to basically jump on this and have a little more, but it's a tough year. You don't know. We don't have answers to questions, and the manufacturers have even fewer answers to questions. Truthfully,
well, I also feel like the ball kind of got dropped on it too, just from the standpoint of like I heard about everything getting postponed. And I heard that they weren't going to have it. We're going to do this virtual. I don't think I received another email about it since, and I'm on I'm on their mailing list, I think. And so maybe you guys saw something, but like, had you not brought it up, this week would have come and gone, and I don't think I would have checked it once.
I got a lot for them.
Okay.
When I went to John with this, I want John to give his opinion why he feels they didn't do live stuff, which I presume that they would, like we do for our virtual things. We do live stuff. John kind of had an opinion on that. Share what you thought about that.
I've been spending more time with it, and I think part of the reason they didn't go into live is, first off, I don't think that's their forte. That they are not that company. I mean, technically, between them and us, that's what we do. So I think there's a level of that. And I think they've also seen how others have tried to put something together. And if you make it a bad experience because you haven't done it, I think the risk was just too great. And that they decided to go a safe way. And now they don't have to. I mean, even our last virtual expo, it was live streamed, but it was all pre-recorded and all stitched together in the office. And that made it so it was a much safer show to run. We did when we did the DJ Talks, that one, let's see, DJ Talks I think was live as far as it was. I think I jumped in between. Was that the one I did? But we've done them all where we've talked between recorded sessions. We've had it where it's been all pre-recorded, and then we've had it where it's been I talk between and I bring Dan in and he talks for 20 minutes. Then I talk between and I bring MJ in and then he talks. We've done them all, and it takes a level of talent and tech and truthfully good luck that YouTube's going to hang on during that whole time frame. Because
bandwidth.
yeah. There's just so many variables that it's really. I guess as I look at it, I'm disappointed because I was hoping they were going to raise the bar to a level that would make me say, "Oh man, we got to up our game for the next one," type of thing. But they didn't. They didn't go that direction, and that's a bad thing. It's just I kind of expected them to go that direction. the content that they've got, the discussion with Mike Walter and Kristen that was in there, and Howard Wallach and George Lopez, they had some good folks there talking and sharing some information and thoughts on the industry. So there's some good stuff there, but two things: they weren't live, so there was that excitement that wasn't there. And secondly, is there's only like three things today. One of them was the DJ mixing, and that was a video that was recorded in October. I mean, it was live in October, so it'd been nice if there had been something that was done and new release today as far as and now the DJ's mix, kind of wrapping up our day. There's the mix guy and doing his thing. But
I do know there's some more mixing coming, and it was pre-recorded like 3 weeks ago, which again would have been October. Yeah.
And if it would be like this is the first time it's getting a date, debuted today.
The other ones, the ones I'm talking about
and that would make it a little more seemingly special. But I thought, and it's like, oh, I wonder if this guy's actually live, that he's doing his live set. No, not only is it not live, it's from October 4th. It's like, oh, okay.
You asked the question last week when you were on here, what we're hoping for at the next expo. Mm-hmm. What do you think we will get? Forget about what you hope for. What do you think we'll get next year?
I think we're going to have DJs who can't afford to spend a ton in 2020, because I don't think that things are going to get it's the long, cold winter, and it has nothing to do with politics. This is the reality of this little beast we have. It's going to be a tough year. We're going to lose more DJs, I think, over the course of the winter who have to go to other jobs. Venues are going to take a hit. 2021 is going to be a time of licking wounds, and at some point in time, there's going to be a level of income again, but it's going to be we may be talking like 1990 income levels for a lot of DJs. So I think Expo for next year there's going to be some manufacturers we don't see there, or they're going to have to scale way back. It might be a much smaller version. I don't think it's going to be the hurrah, we're back and everything's going to be great. I don't think the money's going to be there. The manufacturers won't be able to make sales, so they're not going to invest $100,000 into an event where there's not enough end users that are going to be up and ready to buy. So I think it's going to be a soft relaunch, really, of the DJ industry in 2021, and hopefully looking for 2023 to be back to a pre-COVID level.
What manufacturers have we lost so far, and what ones do you see possibly maybe being bought out or something like that? I don't think
we really haven't lost any manufacturers. We've lost a couple of retailers with PSSL, and then today with Guitar Centers announcing their Chapter 11. Manufacturers, we haven't lost them yet. We've lost some gear from them, meaning that there were some things that they were going to be doing and some directions they were going, and they can't afford to do those. And I think that's what we're going to see for the time frame. But if we get into 2021, you're going to see even more staffing cuts. And that's been a big issue so far, or a big thing that we've seen is companies that have had to release a lot of people, or people who are working full-time are now working part-time, and you see more pictures of them with their in their backyard doing whatever than actually out there. And I think that's going to continue, and it may continue to the point where some of these people just say, hey, I got to find a full-time job again, and they move on to another business. And instead of having 10 people in a marketing team, you might be down to 2 in 2021.
Maybe they'll send some business back our way for doing videos like they used to.
It's possible. I mean, and that was another, again, for those, this is kind of a behind the scenes thing. That was a concern of mine, that the DJ Expo was going to be able to go virtual, and they were going to pull it off in a big way, and it was going to push and make it tougher for us in 2021, because it's like, oh, now there's a new kid on the block who can do a virtual event, and they can do a live virtual event. That would be concerning. We didn't get that. They do a nice job in their lane of what they do. There's no question about it, but they didn't jump into our lane for next year, which does leave us open as that live event source. And hopefully we'll be able to give the value next year to the manufacturers, so they'll be able to utilize that and hopefully start to build that market up. So when DJs are ready to buy, that they'll be there.
I have some ideas for that too, so hit me up before you plan some stuff. No, seriously. because I'm always thinking about this stuff. I mean, because you know how my brain works; it never stops. And like I said, we talked about earlier about being in the hustle, and this is like I talked about in my show last Wednesday night that people said, "What do you think we should expect in the future?" And I said the number one thing that you're going to have to do is be flexible. And for me, that's the hardest thing because I don't like doing a lot of different events, and if I want to continue with this the same as anybody else, you'll have to be flexible outside of your norm or what you want if you want to continue the same way you did, the same size, the same relevance. Or you could scale back and just do it a lot smaller for fun or a little bit extra cash. Not, I have a friend that he DJs just enough to make his truck payment. So he may not be doing that in the future.
Yeah, it's really
he has
hard
a big
to say.
truck, so I know it's a big payment.
But on the flip side, he might be in a better position because he charges a certain amount that might be a lot lower than what others charge. So for him, it might not be a big difference. I'm just going to throw out a number. If he's going out for $150 a night to just walk into a club and play, and he does that 4 times a month for a $600 truck payment, he may not see much of a change because he's already in that price range. Right. But for the DJ who is getting $500 a night to go play in a club, there may not be a market for that person, no matter their skill level, just because of where things are. Eric mentions, of course, that LDI was supposed to be here, and that's when lighting stuff, and that just isn't going to happen either. But he mentions that this is a time for brotherhood and basically people coming together and helping each other. And I think there's a huge part of that, and I think that small groups that get together and are having Zoom, Bill Herman has about 8 people who get together every Monday afternoon, and they all get a cocktail and sit around and talk smart on Zoom. Our DJNTV is DJNTV.com/chill, the chill room. There's people in there every night. I mean, I get to see when people are logging in. There's some nights there's 15, 20 people who are coming in there, but it's every night there's somebody that's bouncing into that room. And there's other rooms and chats and things that are out there where people are sharing and kind of doing life together as best we can in this digital world. And that is going to become a huge thing. I think between Thanksgiving and probably Valentine's Day, I think that's going to keep some people sane in a world where they're basically told, well, you're going to sit at home. It's not safe to go outside. You can't do it.
And there's me being sad thinking about the future when I have to go back out and DJ.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you mean I have to go back outside?
Of this being in lockdown, you don't even know.
But they deliver food now. Why do I need to go outside?
I haven't eaten out or ordered in since St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
I've been self-sufficient since St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
and it's blowing my mind that even though I love fast food, I'm not, it's like, okay, I just go home and make something.
Yeah. We've usually about 2 to 3 times a month, we not that fancy, but we try to hit some of the local restaurants and it's like, I don't even know. I'd probably just be like walking into one of these rooms and just the anxiety level would just go right through the roof because it's like, I haven't been there in so long. It's like, what are these people? Is that what those are? I don't know. What are these?
I was thinking the other day how weird it's going to be when we walk out in public without masks. We're going to feel like naked, like we forgot a piece of clothing or something.
That's the weird one. That will be the weird one.
Yeah. Oh, that it would be. Holy cats! It's 11 o'clock, guys. We got to wrap up. Dan's got to get to school. So Dan, take us home.
All right. On that note, thank you very much for taking some time out of your night to join us. And we talked about a bunch of different stuff tonight. So you got to pull out one of those things, I guarantee it. And if not, go back, hit rewind, watch it again. And I guarantee something will jump out at you then. And if not, watch it a third or fourth time, etc. But some great stuff coming up this week. Make sure you check it out. MJ's got some stuff coming up later this week. He kind of hinted at some stuff. He knows nothing yet. But when he does, he guarantees a video for all of you. So make sure you're checking that out. But again, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.